Welcome back, everyone. I told you there was a countdown. You just started flicking everyone off.
I was playing my ads. Sorry. Oh wait, I forgot my water. Shit.
Go get your water.
Be right back.
Okay.
Putting my ads up.
Put them up. There you go.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if we said this in the beginning, but Scoots is probably. I can't think of a streamer that has a more complicated setup than mine.
Oh no, my other
Scoots.
camera stopped working. We're gonna have to leave this one up, JP.
Scoots is like quite ridiculous with his setup. He has a giant fucking TriCaster. He actually, if you ever go watch it stream, you can see his setup through like the cat cam, I think it is.
Yeah, I've
something
got
like
two little behind the scene cameras going.
Yeah, so you can see it's pretty ridiculous. So definitely go check that out. Before the break, we were talking about some Twitter stuff that happened last night. I guess to set that up, Lyric, for whatever reason, we don't really know why, started tweeting about different things on Twitch, and I guess the biggest takeaway, at least what people talked about the most, was the idea of him saying that smaller broadcasters should not have tips on their stream. And I'm kind of like generalizing a lot of what he said. You should definitely go check him out more in depth and read them yourself so you can form your own opinion. But it sparked a pretty big discussion on Twitter, which sucks because it's 140 characters. So we decided to kind of bring that discussion to the show. We actually had a little bit of a talk about it prior to the show even starting. So I guess a continuation of that, you can feel free to say what we were saying there, and we'll just go from there. So whoever wants to start that off, feel free. And maybe even do a better job of representing what Lyric was actually saying than I did. I'll try to pull up the tweets myself. So
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think when I read them, what I heard in essence, and this is my own interpretation, my own personal views, is that it's one of the first pieces of advice I give to anybody who is starting a streaming on Twitch, or anybody who wants to be a singer, an actor, a musician. The first piece of advice is do it because you love it first. Like those shirts that Twitch designed, stream like nobody's watching kind of a thing. Like do it because you love it
I didn't know
first.
this shirt. That's good.
Yeah, there's a stream like I think I saw Atriac wearing it one day, but it says stream like nobody's watching, and that's I think in essence what the boiled down version for me said was like, don't stream for the money, stream because you love doing it, or else you're just setting yourself up for disappointment, and B, people can kind of see that in your streams, like you're begging. It can come across as like you're begging or panhandling, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's what I got out of it, like basically.
I think that's what a lot of people took from it as well.
Yeah,
and with
no,
that,
for
he's
me
right.
personally, if I'm in a stream and the caster starts, bringing up their finances and how little money they have, or talking about how I just need money to get to this point, I immediately leave. That makes me uncomfortable to be in streams where the person's basically like begging for money.
Right.
But it's kind of interesting because Lyric's tweets, which first of all, I highly encourage everyone read. And also, when you're reading them, I want to point something out. Lyric was limited by 140 characters for every one of his tweets, and he got a lot of information in them. There is a huge amount of misquotes, people misconstruing what he said on Twitter right now, and that's where most of these issues came. Is people reading Lyric's tweets and doing things like what Barry just said, like smaller casters shouldn't be pushing tips, donations so much as a main income source. Like, he at one point said that, but if you read the other tweets, like it made a lot more sense in context.
Or if you took one of them about out
specifically context, people that are catering to like 5 and 15 viewers, which is again like at that point you should not be doing that. But what's really interesting is, and actually it's really unfortunate because my buddy Elohim went to Reddit and he put up a very long post that was like a much more well-written version, much softer, a little bit more to the point. And he even talked about how Lyric was limited in that. And then for some reason, Reddit took it down. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier. Because, like, Lyric's tweets
really
were up there as a discussion, and Jericho was actually in that thread responding, and that didn't get removed.
A lot of casters chipped in.
Yeah.
Like, many casters. But the point is, and he had a really good point, is that, and I'm talking about Lyric, Elo, all these guys, is when there's some interesting layers to this that I'm going to get into, but what they're basically saying is, you don't start on Twitch, expecting that your viewers or Twitch owes you anything. They do not pay your rent. They do not need to pay your rent. And being on cast and talking about how much, oh man, if only I had my rent, I could keep streaming. That's actually a quote I've heard from a Twitch streamer. And then 5 minutes later, they had a donation goal thing across their screen. It's like,
I've seen
and they
that
only had
too.
29 viewers at the time. It's like, that's weird. That
bad.
should not be happening. But at the same point, and I'm going to flip this around a little bit. Twitch is not the same place that it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. There are people like myself who have made this their profession. I pour my heart and soul into this. Many, many broadcasters too. In fact, I'm with 3 of them right now. And it's the kind of thing where other people are going to see this. They're going to want to get involved. They're going to think and feel confident about themselves as a caster. And in their mind, they're going to go, I'm going to hit the ground running. I'm going to start from day one working towards being one of them. And I think a lot of the discussion last night was saying that those people are wrong. But that's not the case. And a big reason that's not the case is because Twitch is not the same website that it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now there's successful streamers all over the place. In some cases, supporting people a lot more than just themselves. I support my wife, a house full of animals. We do charity stuff. Like it's big. It's huge. So we can't really fault people for looking at this industry and going, I want to be successful in that industry. And I want to start working towards that goal in the very first day. Arguably, I did that. I only streamed for like a month before I decided, you know what? I'm doing this 100%. I'm going to pour my heart and soul into this. So, and is that not a right way to feel? So it's brought up a lot of interesting questions. A lot of people were ragging on Lyric for posting this stuff. I think it's great because some of the discussion that came from him posting that stuff was extremely eye-opening, and it's discourse that honestly needs to be talked about. Like this is kind of important stuff, especially to people who are thinking about starting streaming.
Right.
Like, this is stuff they need to hear.
Well, that's the other thing too that I think a lot of people don't understand is that the amount of people that make a quote living, and when I say living, I would probably say more than minimum wage, is 300 to 400, maybe. Like you guys tell me how far off that number is. I think it's maybe even less than
subs.
No, 300 or 400 like streamers.
Oh, that would be an interesting question. Like you have to set a baseline of revenue, and then it'd be interesting to know
I mean,
how many
a
people
baseline revenue would be.
The problem there, Scoots, is it's completely dependent on where you live.
Sure,
if you're supporting other people,
that's very true.
Like, do you have roommates?
Well, I think
if
you just said a monetary, like if you're the amount of people that make more than I said last night, the amount of people that make 40 to 50,000 a year is in the hundreds from Twitch, and maybe that's too much. So like the barrier of entry there to actually like be successful, where success is defined of making that much, is like you got to be the 1% of Twitch. Like, it really comes down to being the 1% and being the people that have the luck, have the ability to do what they're doing, been doing it for a long time. Like I can't think of a streamer that's been doing it for 6 months that just skyrocketed. I guess I can, but I can't count more than 5 or 10 max in the past year that have done that, or in the past 5 years that have done that. And I think a lot of people, kind of like what Lyric was getting at, and kind of what Ko was just saying, is like they think they can turn on a stream and put up a tip jar and say, hey, I'm streaming. Here's go tip me, like go support me because I'm playing video games. Like it doesn't work like that, and it will never work like that. I hope. Really
interesting tangent is that like people are not understanding that a lot of times streaming is very similar to other industries, but those connections just haven't been made yet. For instance, like I had an interesting conversation with someone on Twitter while I was traveling, where he said, "Dude, I've been doing this for 3 years. Is it? And I average 30 viewers a day, and I've been streaming almost every day for 3 years. Is it possible I'm just not going to be successful?" And I had to reply to him, and I said, "Absolutely. Yeah. It's just like acting. People can train to act their entire lives and may never hit their big break. People can work like a shit job and act on the side with the express content of or intent of being a big actor someday, never make it at all. And that's how it is a lot of times on Twitch, where
Right.
I know streamers that have streamed now almost twice as long as me, and they average between 20 and 50 viewers. But this goes back to Lyric thing. They're doing it because they love it, and that's exactly what they should be doing at that point. But it's really interesting because, and I think this ties into Lyric's point, if you haven't yet gotten to the point where you have made it, if you haven't proven yourself on Twitch, if you haven't created that community, why should you be asking for money at that point?
Right.
Like I was talking to Scoots before the cast. Do you think people that are moving to California to, make that big acting job and they're working a shitty waiting job they hate, do you think they're on the side of the road demanding money from passerbyers and acting with a tip jar in front of them and wondering why people aren't throwing money into it? Like, more importantly, like telling people that they should be throwing money into it. It's kind of like, why would that make any sense in that regard? And in that line of thinking, why would that make any sense on Twitch?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
I think one of the things I took on was Lyric, again, came up in a different time at Twitch for sure.
I mean, I think all of us did here.
Oh yeah. You guys all did for sure, and I did in a different way. Obviously, I definitely don't put myself in the full-time streamer god status of you three at all. Production esports guy, but like I am just starting to figure out how the fuck you guys actually do this every day without and still loving your gaming.
Some of us don't. Some of us are
I know.
actually
That's
sane.
part about your stream. You hate it. That's why I play with you so much. Actually, we hate it together. I was so pissed the other night. Anyway, I'm gonna get me started. I rage quit on you finally for once. Anyway, I think to your point, Ko. Like I think where do you draw the line between the guy that thinks he's really good at guitar playing and wants to go pursue his dream and go to Vegas and try to get an act in a lounge, right? But on the way to that craft of being a guitar player, he's begging for money all along the way to get to the lounge. And he's doing that from the minute he leaves his house. And it seemed like Lyric's problem was his tone and not really, I think, his message and what he really got to at the end of his tweets, right?
Many people in chat said that exact same thing just now.
Yeah.
And
I grew up with my dad saying that exact same thing. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
how you say it. And then, right? Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, what he also did is he kind of pooped on probably people that idolize him because they want to be him. He is that success story. And like my hero just basically told me that my dream is shit. And he didn't really say that. He said, look, your dream is not shit, but he's like that friend that, again, would go, dude, you suck at the guitar. Why are you going to Vegas?
Right.
Why don't you stay home for a little while and see what you got, bro, before you worry about asking all your friends for gas money to go to Vegas. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with having the ability to give someone a tip from day one. But I think someone that fires up and says, hey, I don't know if I'm any good at this, but I quit my $60,000 job because I hated going to the cubicle every day, and I need you to pay my rent from day one. I haven't earned anyone's trust. I haven't entertained you yet, but I really need you to help pay my rent because I made this decision. Not my house burned down, but I left. Nothing wrong with leaving the career. Go for it. Or do like a lot of people did and work both till you figure out that, you know what, I probably can make the leap. But I think the begging part is what all of us dislike. Not the ask, not the ability, but the blatant begging and then the garishness of the overlays. And again, to each their own. I don't watch those streams. That's the best thing about it. I don't have to watch or be entertained by you if you're that kind of streamer. And maybe Lyric shouldn't give a shit either. But I think at the end of the day, he was saying, hey, see if you got something, kind of build something, and then maybe up your ass.
Right. I think what happened too.
Don't quit your J job, right?
He started the tweets saying that, he was browsing Twitch and he was going to those streams. And I don't know how often he does that. Apparently not that much because he was shocked by it last night, according to these tweets, where he's just browsing Twitch and seeing a lot of these smaller streams where the game is not the focus. The focus is pay me money because I'm playing this game on a lot of those streams. And you're saying like the garishness and of all the overlays, like some of those streams at the bottom of the viewer pool in Twitch are fucking ridiculous. Like there's a billion things going on the stream or on the screen. You can't even see the gameplay because it's either too small or and this is maybe because I can't afford it, but the gear is just not there. And they focus so much on everything else besides the aspect of actually entertaining and doing the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to him.
And there's nothing wrong with cool stuff to nod to when people do this, whether they tip or they subscribe or
Right.
you have point systems. You know, oh, you've got a great internal system. Sacriel does all this crazy shit. JP, you go really light. You know, you've got a little bit of overlay stuff, but you don't do much more than that. And again, some people will read out every donation. Some people will show it. To each their own there. But it just seems like if you're it seems like to me the very most popular, most sustainable popular streamers Twitch have do the least of this kind of stuff on a regular basis, or they do it in a very tasteful way. That's be
the biggest thing,
to success. I don't think Lyric ever had bells and whistles, whiz dang. I didn't watch him years ago either, so I don't know how he grew into what he does now. Same thing with Yuko. But your stuff is tasteful now. Shit, JP, your shit's non-existent, right? In that sense, right?
Yeah.
In that sense.
To be fair, I used to dance topless.
There you go. There you go.
Well, that's how you got your start on Twitch. So.
And again, one of the coolest things about
I
it is
saw what Intel made you do, Co.
You can do whatever you want.
Slave to the system, man.
You know, but I wonder if those, like, I just don't think those super over the top from day one streams probably have a good success rate.
Yeah.
Because they're not even built yet to figure out what they should be before they start putting it all, you know, it's just.
And the other, you know, kind of the other side, we're talking about a lot of the smaller streams. There's a lot of the biggest streams on Twitch that put in absolutely zero effort into the overlays. I don't think those guys will
anything on their stream.
Yeah, and
let's just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it will last for whatever reason because they already have the installed base. But like, I don't know how long those guys can survive on Twitch with that still there. Like, they have to eventually do something. Like, I don't think it's effort. I think it's just, or I think it is effort. I think it's just kind of like laziness.
It's kind of like if it's not broke, why fix it? Like a lot of these guys are making, they have or in some cases tens of thousands of viewers. Their overlays consist of default OBS text and default OBX like stuff and a webcam. Like that's their entire thing. And literally I've seen like default Twitch alerts, drop downs.
And text to speech.
Why would they change it? Like that's worked for them greatly. It's been awesome. Now it's been really interesting to see some OG casters evolve with it. Like to see like some people who have said, I will never do this. All of a sudden they're doing it.
I did that with tips.
Now they're doing it with really cool animations like everyone else.
I mean, I did that with tips on my stream. I said I would never have tips when I first started streaming. And then a year and a half ago, I put in tips, but I did it in my own way. Like, we don't have the message. We don't show the value tip. Like,
dude, I used to have like certain blocked out parts of my screen, daily high, monthly high, most recent donator, all that stuff. I dropped all that stuff a year ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like you don't even know who the top donator in my stream is unless you happen to catch the once in 30-minute little pop-up saying thanks for the thing today, whoever it was.
Right.
And again, I don't want to say it's the right way to do it. It's different strokes for different folks. But it's interesting seeing all this stuff evolve with Twitch, because what you'll notice is the higher up the chain you go, the more the caster will start to get away from that. So that kind of leads this diametric view where that's the wrong thing to do, but that's not necessarily right, because larger streams have different needs and requirements than smaller streamers. And in fact, this is something I've talked to Twitch a lot about recently, is about like, you can't treat every Twitch stream the same way. They're like, Twitch streams in different stages of growth have different requirements, huge different requirements. And if you also break down the income of a Twitch streamer at different stages of growth, it is dramatically different, as opposed to, okay, how much is your income is tips? How much of your income is subs? How much of your income is sponsors?
Yeah.
Like, this stuff completely changes when you start getting towards the high end of Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, and I see a lot of people in chat talking about like these big streamers who have all these simple overlays, and they don't acknowledge everything is like very, very streamlined. And they're talking about the biggest names on Twitch. Whereas I honestly, and I will tell you honestly, being one of those gimmicky kind of guys, I don't think I would be where I am without the flames and the loud and all the shit that I do and stuff like that. I don't think I would be where I was without that.
Right.
Because it's not my style. Like, I want to entertain you. I want to entertain you so hard it hurts.
And sometimes it does.
Sometimes, yeah.
And sometimes it does. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're not wrong. Yeah.
You can't. I can't now. Like, I would love, honestly. Like, there are times when I want to get up and say, I'm not going to do any of that shit no more. I'm not going to do any raid response. I'm going to say thank you for the raid. I'm not going to do any, like, my sub response will be like, thank you for subbing. Whatever.
And you know what, Zeke? That's the day I would stop rating you as much as I do.
And that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Like, for instance, like when I raid Zeke frequently, and mostly it's because our schedules line up and we're on the same stream team now. But I used to do that before we were on the same stream team. And
Right.
one of the reasons I did it was because I absolutely loved seeing my regulars' reaction to his insanely unique raid reception.
Right.
Having flames behind him and like all this stuff. Like, seeing people freak out about that, that's part of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'd almost argue is completely different from what we're talking about, because that's good when you have something that is that unique and makes your channel stand out that much.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you know, it's like that as opposed to like donation pop-ups and goals and that kind of stuff. Like, that's a huge turnoff for me. Pretty much, if I'm in a stream, I look for new streamers for the coalition all the time. And if I'm in a smaller stream and I feel at any point like they're trying to pull money out of my wallet, that's an instant out for me.
Yeah.
That's just like,
okay, so but let me ask you. So isn't this the evolution of being a streamer though? Because you had a phase where the most important thing you could do was show all that stuff. And it's kind of a weird psychological experiment. It's like having a virtual tip jar. When you see a tip jar, you technically might be more apt to tip someone at a coffee shop.
If it's in your mind, then you think about it.
Or a drive, if it's a shuttle driver or whatever. So these are virtual tip jars. So obviously a lot of people put them up because once it starts, once the sub train rolls, ideally, psychologically,
the philosophy behind it is that people see that and want to sub and be a part of it. Yeah,
because I know my name shows up, and I'm going to say a funny thing to Summit, and he's going to read it out. Like, it's so like having these tools can actually make you more money than not having them.
100%.
At a certain time of your streaming career.
There is no question that my total amount of tips in the channel between the month that I stopped showing the daily high on the stream, before and after, dropped dramatically.
Yep, 100%.
I'm talking like over 50%.
Okay, so in some regard, how can we get mad at all if someone, if like you're asking, because you're again, Lyric's not sitting on an ivory tower with his thought process. I know he's not like that, but you all have these other revenue streams now, and I am that low to mid-tier streamer, and I know if I turn that off, the little bit of tips I get every night, I ain't gonna get any.
Right.
So I do get the day one, like, don't turn the entire show on and go, pay me. I get that. But somewhere along the way, it's got to be okay to put the tip jar out. And
now, to be fair, though, it's a completely different thing to say, here is a way you can support me if you're enjoying the show, as opposed to, hey, I can't pay my bills and it's up to you guys to help me. Like, those, and just be perfectly clear, I was talking about the latter. Like, as someone who came from a position of having that stuff on the stream, promoting the fact that, you know, people like, I completely understand that. And the lower you go down the totem pole on Twitch, the more tips matter. In fact, I was talking to a creative streamer just a few days ago who said, like, most of her income is tips.
Okay.
And of course, it's totally understandable to promote the people that are doing that. That makes total sense. And like I said, year plus for me, I had that all over the screen. But it's one thing to get that little bit of almost guilting, making the viewer feel responsible for the continuation of the cast.
I understand.
That's when that's the line for me. Now everyone has a different line.
So for you, it's not even the overlay in front of you saying who gave last. It's me going, hey, man, I'm really looking at this new, I need to pay rent. Oh, my AC bill. Hey, anyone. It's how they introduce that they have tip programs.
Where every 5 minutes you're talking about, God, if only I had a new computer.
Yeah. Hey,
I only need $1,000 more dollars.
Amazon wish list.
Oh,
Hey,
and I've actually
when it takes over the
join my
cast.
Snapchat. I'm not joining your Snapchat.
But if I may play devil's advocate for a minute, someone has like an unforeseen thing that causes them financial struggle.
Sure.
And then they're like, shit, this happened. I incurred a big debt, or I owe this whatever. Like, and they have nobody else to turn to but their community on Twitch. Like, how do you feel about that?
This is where it turns situational. And also the approach to that kind of thing matters so much. Like, it's one thing to inform your community about rough situations you're going through. it's another to make it their responsibility to get you through it.
Yeah. And again, back to like the core of Lyrics thing, like quitting your job without even knowing if this other skill set is right for you or you're a fit for a new career is a bad idea.
Right,
and then instantly panhandling to pay your rent because you made that decision is an even worse idea.
Yeah.
You know?
And that happens on the subreddit for Twitch. It's,
yeah, and again, it happens in real life. I'm quitting I'm a good accountant, but I'm a pretty good bass player. I'm going to go play in my band. We're going to, I'm giving it up.
There's common posts on the subreddit nonstop of, hey, I just graduated high school. Should I go to college or should I become a Twitch streamer? And it's like, oh God, how do you have this? How do you have this line of thought? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and that's kind of what he's
like. Even with esports, like when people ask me about, hey, can we get in esports? Can I get a job in esports? Oh, you guys are all making money.
Oh yeah, that was
hard. So hard to get paid in esports. Like I got lucky. Like I can kind of retire because I got lucky in a company I had a piece of got sold. Right. That's so anomaly in our world. Right. So.
Right. I mean, look,
your day job,
Scott, that was me back at Godfrag. I mean, that was me constantly asking, like, hey, when are we going to be able to, get a little bit of money for this? And like, I think only the top, when I say top, the 7 people at the top of the hierarchy were the only people to ever get any money, and it was never anything massive until MLG bought them out. And even then, it wasn't anything massive.
Here's a question. Maybe you guys have talked about it in past episodes, but like, what about the idea of just the fact that it's so easy? And we're not talking about quality, but just getting up and running to stream now, to put yourself out there. It is so easy to do. There's so little barrier to entry. Is it just a false sense of like, I can, like, is it worse than like, I can play in the NBA, I can be an actor, I can be.
I mean, there's no.
Man, like, because I turn Summit stream on, right? I watch Summit every day. I watch a bunch of you guys every day, right? And you look at the technicality of top streamers, right? It's not. Technically, like JP, you push yourself to stupid limits with what you try to do graphically and all the gear you buy, but you don't have to, right?
No, not at all. You can have a PC and do just fine.
It's easy on paper to do and put myself forward, right? Not the entertainment part, not the flames behind me. Like, is that the issue in itself? Like, the barrier of entry just to be a streamer is too low, so therefore the expectation that you can make any money in streaming is too low, and that the fact that you can make lots of money is way too low. Because in reality, not very many of you guys, like you said earlier, are making real world livable wages for you and your families yet.
I think you have a definite point there. I mean, if you put it to the effect of like the NBA or anything like that, like they have, the different stages of like high school, college, NBA or baseball, where it's like high school, college, AA, AAA, blah, blah, blah. Like they all have their rankings, right? For streaming, it's like, hey, you're on the same platform as everyone else. What's
your ranking? Like your partnered? Is that like you're moving up?
Maybe partnered is the next one, but there's some non-partners that would probably make more money than some partnered streamers just because of the tips that they pull in or something like that. But at the same time, to what you're saying, like I actually get triggered really bad when I'm browsing Twitter and I'm like, oh, who is this? And it says in their Twitter profile, professional Twitch streamer, and they get 10 views, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. You don't fucking have. You can't have that title. You stream to 10 people, and if I go to your stream, it's like 720p 30, and it looks like ass. Like that triggers the fuck out of me, and I think that's what happened to Lyric. Is he got triggered because he went to some of these smaller streamers? Yeah.
He actually cited some very valid examples in his rant. Like he actually said this is the situations I'm triggered in, and I have to admit that like some of them were kind of accurate. It's really interesting because again, this is really new.
Right.
All of Twitch, this is a brand new medium. In fact, I did an interview on lunch, and like some of the stuff I was talking to them about, you could tell like they were just like this is real life. Like the stuff he's saying actually happens.
Right.
Like people watch this, and it's really interesting because like there is no designation. If you don't have a job and you're streaming 8 hours a day, even if you're streaming to 10 people,
technically you're a Twitch pro.
If you're getting tips, if you're making money,
that's the definition of professional.
Who are we to say you're not a professional streamer?
That's the definition of professional.
Money, right?
Yeah.
So it again, there's nothing dictating this right now except us.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're right.
It's
You're right.
everyone has their different bars, and last night we saw Lyric's bar. Like he was very public
Yeah.
about where his bar is. But what's crazy is like as you move around the ladder, as you get to like like for instance, there was a stream team that recently started up called The Party, and there's a lot of really quality casters in there. None of them I would consider like huge, but they're a team where like 3 members of the team don't even stream. There's that much production going into this group of streamers.
That's interesting.
And it's like, could anyone call them not a real stream team? Of course not. Like they're putting their quality, there's talent, there's a lot of back end, there's all this stuff going into it. But at the same point, if you use some of the bars that some people have set, some of them aren't even professional streamers.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, where do we go from this?
That's true. Like
all based on perspective right now that almost no one has an authority.
I guess if I was to,
Well, if you want to break it all the way down to be a professional, it has to be, according to the dictionary definition, is your main paid occupation.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're unemployed,
main source of income.
But if you're not getting any money from anywhere else except the $5 to $15 you get a day off Twitch, does that mean you're a professional Twitch streamer?
Technically, yes. Which is weird. Like that's the thing is I was just thinking is and what in my mind would be qualified for like a professional streamer. Like what dictates that X person, like what are the specifications they have to hit to be a pro streamer? I don't know. I would just cite this person's a pro streamer, that person's like it's all just like how I feel about it, I guess is the way at the end of the day.
You know how I view it? If you're profession or if you're a professional something, you can use your profession to feed, clothe, and house yourself. That's not
a bad idea. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Zeke, that's what I use
and whoever else is dependent on you.
Sure.
So old fashioned. Jeez.
No, it's really interesting because what Zeke just said is exactly what when I was a streamer, that's the exact bar I said. When I am making the equivalent of my 40-hour IT job that I left when I started really diving into streaming, that was my personal bar. But again, it's important to say my personal bar, like that was for me, and Zeke, that was for him too. So that lines up with a lot of people, but I'm sure our numbers, Zeke, are probably totally different. So it's kind of like if a third party were to come in, we would be on completely different levels. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you saw JP's in a 5-bedroom house, right? You obviously see a level.
Have you seen his hands? Like a baby's bottom.
He's getting green screen up.
Yeah.
His people didn't come over to put the green screen up. I can't even
true.
believe he was actually touching the lights.
The green screen people will be here Thursdays.
The studio build out.
There are 6 of them.
Yeah, there's 6 people. One guy's entire job is just to say, your house looks nice. That's it.
He's not the same guy that takes the shit in your house, though, right?
No. God, that pissed me off so bad. Fucking handyman comes in the house. He fixes. He's like, hey, I'm going to go into your master bedroom. I was like, cool, I'll go put these in the dryer. I walk back into the bathroom. He's just taking a shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
There's a king shit in the king shit's house.
I was so upset.
Up,
I just walked out of the room. I didn't say anything. Anyways. I think that's a good. I don't think there can be an end to this conversation. I think a lot of the things we said, and I think to bring it back in, Ko made a great point. Like Twitch is something that's constantly changing, and so I think this conversation 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, will always be a little slightly different. Like maybe by then we'll be able to say like, maybe we'll live in a world where Twitch will have some sort of blue check mark next to a stream that means like this is a professional streamer. In Man vs. Game still won't have it. Man vs. Game still won't have it. So it doesn't.
Speaking, I'm just gonna say, dude.
Yeah,
that was so rude, Zeke. Just saying, that was, oh man, especially like an hour after he posted about it. It was
felt good though.
Yeah, but
I favorited the tweet. Just saying.
Speaking of this all changing and this being the Wild West, who's to say in 5 years you all don't get classified as the same as actors and people in the entertainment industry, and you have to be a member of a SAG union or some other, Screen Actors Guild, for those.
Oh, I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if it takes
Like
that long.
or some sort of broadcasting union like live TV. People have to be part of.
I mean,
again, you kind of are live TV entertainers. Your TV is just an internet.
Scoots,
delivery
believe it or
device.
not, I've actually heard and I've been told about that very specific thing is happening as we speak. Like that type of thing is happening.
A lot of you have agents. That's all part of it too, right? So
Yeah.
we talk about player unions. That's an entertainment union, if you will, of
Yeah.
talent, etc. So yeah, there you have it.
There you go. There you go.
Add another category, Marcus. When you redesign that website, we're going to need some sort of
When you redesign the web,
purple. Obviously, it needs to be a purple starry thing, JP, not a blue thing, right?
It needs to be a little Twitch gadget, the little Twitch guy
Glitch,
right there.
The glitch, yeah.
Purple salt
there it
for
is.
the professional partnered program.
Exactly.
The PPPs.
Yeah.
yeah, just
Are
have,
you down with PPP? There's your marketing strategy. There's everything.
like have a turbo icon, like
Yes.
some, like another icon by your name, so it says
Yeah.
that you're a professional.
I'm down with
There you go.
PPP.
But
Yeah,
let's be honest with
you
the
know
way
me.
Twitch is introducing new things, we won't have that for like 10 years, Scoot, so it doesn't matter. You know. It's gonna be
Marcus
too
will be like,
long.
that's a great idea. I'm gonna have to shelve your subscriber link now. Way to go, pal. You fuck yourself. You just
Yeah.
go stick to yourself.
That's true. That's true. We have about 15 minutes left. We should probably talk about some video games.
What are those?
Overwatch is gone. We're all really sad about it. The one thing that I'm actually excited about is that people really love that beta. Like, and they love the beta, and they also started watching more Overwatch streams. The numbers for streams fucking like skyrocketed throughout the open beta, and for
Also,
someone,
shout out and congratulations to a seagull who has officially locked down the Overwatch category.
right? I saw that he was
for the
at,
rest of time.
he was at like 14K the other day.
I ended up subbing to him. Like I was like, what is this guy about? Like I go in,
he's
dude
a
is not only insanely good at Overwatch, but he's basically like a teacher.
He is.
So like anytime he does anything that's techie, or anytime someone in chat asks like questions about what
yeah.
he's doing, he goes into in depth about it. Like
Right.
he will talk about the strategies involved, like what characters, like what counters
He
work
also
on what
doesn't
characters.
rage. He just goes, "Dang it, that guy had
Yeah.
his ult up," instead of where it's like,
I'm
you know,
out.
it's like,
I can't
About
watch.
yeah,
Hey, tomorrow.
it's like fuck this fucking idiot piece of shit. Just go stick the fuck
And
out of
he's
his
good at
goddamn ult.
every hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's really good.
phenomenal at.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
No,
really,
that's
really good.
the kind of guys I watch. I watch people who are opposites of me or not like me at all.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
he's
rip
definitely
Overwatch.
the king of Overwatch for now, or maybe forever. Who knows? But yeah, like
back soon though.
yeah, 2 weeks.
Thank
Thankfully, I think everyone's won their crack. I definitely miss it because that was kind of the game that I was mainly playing.
Well, that's a game I would relax to.
Yep. For me, man, like I'm surprised how much that game grew on me. I started on the opposite end of the spectrum. I was like, this game looks not very fun. It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
remember
everything
that.
is coming out. You remember, on drop frames, you go back and watch the drop frames. I was like, I don't know if I'll play it or not. The more I played it, the more I fell in love with it. And it got to the point where I was one of the streamers that was streaming it almost.
You were
more
playing it a
than
lot.
most
I mean,
others.
I could look
Yeah,
at
like,
your past games. And it's
Dude, we started
basically-
doing sub games. Like in
It's
the last couple
Overwatch all
Overwatch
day.
streams I did, they were all sub games. So we'd start private matches and like start rotating people in.
So,
and it was a blast. Like we had such a
question.
good time.
When you did that, did you turn on the private game only option of making the server 60 tick?
What we did was I cleared out my Battle.net list, and my buddy Barry helped me come up with a system where I could pull.
Oh no,
people's
I'm
battle
not
notes
saying
from my
like the
stuff.
process of inviting people, just the option of playing 60 tick servers. Did you turn that on or no?
I don't remember.
Okay.
You can turn it on and
I
touch
didn't
it.
touch that, and it was fine.
Okay, because it has just the normal tick servers, but in custom games you can actually turn on a better server that actually like the tick goes from 24 to 60, and so
Yeah.
you'll have less of that stuff where if a Hanzo hits
You're
you and
behind
you're
the
like
wall.
running behind a wall, you'll die behind the wall. Like you'll see less of that. Now I haven't done that yet. I haven't played on
Cool.
that yet, so I was interested if you had checked it out, but.
Yeah, I mean, for me, especially with this last open beta, and I think I actually mentioned this in the last cast, but it became even more apparent as we continued. But the entire kind of Twitch chat behind Overwatch turned from bashing the game because I can't play
They're
it
loving it,
and riding on the fact that it's like every other game turned into, what's your favorite hero?
Yep.
What advice do you have for this
Yeah.
guy?
Yep.
What do you think of this map? What do you think of this hero? Will you play this guy, please? Like it was just like we talked about, like what would happen when Overwatch goes into open beta. All that stuff basically happened.
Yep.
Viewership went up. The amount, the Twitch chat quality went up. Like everything kind of got better once more people were able to play the game. It was pretty crazy to see, to be honest.
It's really awesome to see that. The other thing too is there's a tournament running this weekend, both at DreamHack, but there was also, I think it was the finals, which has actually had some controversy, but we're not going to talk about that. But regardless, the finals, those tournaments for the most part would average, 2,000 to 3,000. The finals was like 11K.
Yeah.
And like the viewership's just starting to spike like immensely for that, which is really, really cool to see.
And I don't know if he's still in chat, but Fish Sticks like absolutely wrecked like at some of that stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was
He was at the
DreamHack Austin,
where was he?
He was at DreamHack Austin, but I think he played in like a public tournament, so he was just playing.
All I know is I
like
think he won a
baddies.
laptop.
He won a laptop from it.
Yeah.
So that was freaking awesome.
No, he says.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But yeah, it was cool to see everyone kind of
it hit
come
18K.
together in that. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to come back, dude.
Same here.
I'm super excited to have an evening game back.
Yep.
Me too. That's honestly once my streaming is done, because it does shit. I do garbage numbers whenever I've tried to stream Overwatch, because not only am I'm mediocre at best, but I don't pay attention to chat, and that's kind of my thing. I mean, that's where I generate most of my whatever
This
entertainment.
Widow just never missed a shot for an
when
entire
I'm done
clip.
streaming, I go grab a fucking Lunchable and I sit for 6-7 hours just playing over.
Yeah. That's the other thing too is
It definitely sucked me in. Favorite game I've played for quite a long time.
we were talking about that on stream the other day with or on stream. I don't Scoots, I don't know if you were in Discord at the time, but we were just like, how can we play this game for like 10 hours straight and just not get tired of it? Like it's the same thing over and over again. Like, how does this make any sense? And I guess that's just Overwatch. It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, it plays on all your emotions like a good game would. Like you do get angry, you do get mad at yourself, you get mad at your teammates, you get mad at your enemy, but then you forget about it, you reset. And it's really, I mean, again, Blizzard makes really good video games.
They do. It turns out they do. I also implore you guys to go watch the, and I've said this before, at least I hope I have.
Yeah.
Go watch the GameSpot 3 video series things about Overwatch from Danny O'Dwyer. Like, hell of a watch. They're about 20 minutes long each. They are.
He did such a good job on those, man.
Not only did he do such a good job, but for me, like, I respect and almost enjoy the game more after watching those videos because I got to see. Like, you see a lot of other dev teams, and they're just, like, talking, promoting the games. These guys, like, for whatever reason, maybe it was just because Danny captured it so well, they, like, live and breathe Overwatch, and they were, like, they failed on Titan, and it talks about that in the video, and I was, like, so happy for them to see them say, like, we're back. And I was like, that was fucking
JP,
awesome.
do we have a link for chat on that by any chance?
I can get one. They are a little bit hard to find.
A lot of people are asking for it. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it out or find it here in just a second. Watch it out. Let's talk about what
everyone's pointing out Heroes of the Storm to me, like when my Blizzard makes very good video games.
Look,
come on. I don't like the game.
This is a long conversation. Heroes of the Storm is not a bad game.
Blizzard games are most importantly mainly bug free, polished as hell.
That's right.
They're generally well made.
Yes.
Right.
Like, I'm not a huge Blizzard fanboy by any means. In fact, people that watch me regularly can tell you I barely play Blizzard games outside of Overwatch. But that's their thing, and they do it well.
Right.
So I played more Overwatch than any other Blizzard game, all of them combined, I would say, at this point. I wasn't into WoW. I wasn't into StarCraft, a little bit of Diablo here and there, but I think if I added my hours, Overwatch beats them all combined.
Yep.
On Twitch,
I just know they make good, solid games, Now, esport-wise, lots of things to work on there. So I'm an esports guy, but we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, if they introduce it to esports, which they will.
But it already is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, can they have like one hero per?
No, they can constantly swap
per team. Can they?
That's one of the big debates. I mean, different tournament organizers are trying different things right now.
Yeah.
Different points, a point system for each part of a checkpoint along a payload path.
Yeah.
Did that with her tournament this weekend. Some are doing one hero only.
And fuck Roadhog.
Yeah. I don't think Blizzard's going to like one hero only because they didn't build the game for that.
Yeah. No, I think most tournaments will do the Like
Yeah.
swap whenever you want.
Yeah, but will they limit it to 2 or 3
Put
per?
it 2 or 3. Yeah, that's kind of been the constant
Again, a lot of work
conversation.
on the esports side, I think, but I think.
But you know what, Scott?
None of
The best part is we never have to interact with that. I can just play the normal game. That's fucking awesome.
I'll definitely watch a lot of the tournament stuff
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I might. We'll see.
JP back on a desk broadcasting. Old man Scoots being on the JP. Tell me, he's one of the best McCrees in the nation. What do you think about this young kid?
I'll never return to that. Well, I mean, maybe, but I'll never return to that desk.
I threw it to you, and that's how God.
Yeah, that's my answer. Is Scott?
You're
I don't
out.
know why the fuck I'm here in your dream. Stop dreaming.
All right.
Let's talk a little bit about
Fair
Uncharted 4 because it's out. I think Zeke, you haven't touched it, right?
I got to be careful about this because I'm playing it currently. Are we going to spoil?
I'm not going to spoil any. Look, I love this game so much. I'm only going to talk about gameplay and the amazing thing they did with the game. I will not spoil anything about the story.
Okay.
I have full disclosure before you all start like masturbating. Haven't played a single one of them.
To be honest, 4 is in another league compared to the other 3, in my opinion.
But I will have a question once you all are finished. So
Okay.
now do your thing.
This section was shown at E3, so I'm okay showing it. It also happens to be one of the best parts in the game. Co, you're right. Well, it doesn't matter.
I'm starting it after this broadcast.
Okay, you're going to see this very
Nice.
soon, Co. What a fucking
Oh, yeah.
game.
I haven't seen this yet.
What a fucking game. Maybe I'll zoom it back a little bit then.
Dude, it's so much fun. I got to admit, though, I turned on auto aim.
No, dude, look, 100%. I played on easy, and I
Yeah.
played with auto aim on. I do not regret it whatsoever.
Okay. I'm playing on hard with auto aim, and I still die.
Look,
Which makes me realize that if I played hard without auto aim, that I'd probably be pulling my hair out, and it'd probably be a 5+ hour addition to what
the
normal
thing
time
is, for me, the worst part, and it's not bad, but the worst part about Uncharted is the gameplay.
I got to admit, like, when you compare the rest of the game to the shooting gallery parts, it's not even a comparison.
It's not.
But for me personally, and this actually transitions to something like hopefully the next thing we're talking about. There are so many good games coming out in the next 3 weeks.
Right.
Like,
right.
one of the reasons that I have auto aim on is because I have to finish Uncharted 4 as soon as possible.
By Friday,
Like,
because Doom. Yeah.
Dude, Doom comes out Friday. Stellaris just came out. Fallout 4, their first real DLC, let's be frank about it, comes out on the 19th. Witcher Blood and Wine comes out on the 31st.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just pounded my soundboard like 20 times in a row. And then No Man's Sky, like 4 days after that.
Oh God, that's right. I forgot about that.
God, there's so much gaming coming out in the next little bit. It's like I'm losing my mind. I don't even know how to.
I didn't know that was so soon.
Such a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great problem. Like I'm losing it over here.
To go, yeah. So is your dog.
Yeah, my dog is so hyped about
He's
this. You can
super
hear him.
hyped. The one thing I will say about Uncharted, besides it being the best game on
And
the PS4,
Overwatch comes back.
yeah,
And Overwatch
the end
comes
of,
back.
the end of that. Besides it being like the best game on PS4, is Naughty Dog once did it again, and they made the best looking console game I've ever seen. Like I've never seen and maybe a lot of people are saying Witcher 3 had better graphics, but that's because it was on a PC and could go higher than 1080p and do a bunch of other shit.
They're comparable.
For
wouldn't say
what
that.
Naughty Dog was working with here with the PS4, this game is like fucking unbelievable in terms of how good it looks. Definitely the best animations I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the animations,
They are-
especially the specific character animations,
God,
like
they're
dude,
so good, dude.
walking. Okay, this isn't really a spoiler, but I just got to the point where I had to walk through the market in Madagascar,
Yeah.
and like it literally felt, it was one of the first times in gaming when I felt like I was actually walking through a market, seeing
Yeah.
unique animations all around me, seeing my character interact with the side characters completely naturally, doing all sorts of things just back to back. Like you could see them just flow into each other. And as a game
Yeah.
designer, I was just sitting there going like,
Dude,
are you kidding? Like
it's-
it was very impressive.
It's the only game for me that's ever. So they do a lot of cutscenes, but they do more cutscenes in this game than any other Uncharted. And when they go into like a cutscene, there's points in the game where it's actually too good, where the character models are too good and they're actually so well animated that the backdrops look bad in comparison because the characters fucking look so true to life. And you can tell that like These are 4 actors that were captured in a studio, motion with fucking tons of things on them, walking around in this like green area, being motion capped because the rest of the area looks so bad. But the other thing too is that they're able to convey, because the voice actors are so goddamn good, they can convey emotions in this game that I've never seen before in a game. Like some of the scenes where you're just with Elena are just like, this is insane. Like they are so
Even
well
the
fucking acted.
First scenes with Elena when she's on
Yeah.
the couch,
It's
like
ridiculous.
seeing her interact with the environment objects and watching her face.
Yeah, it's
like,
insane, dude.
Like it looked like an actual face. Like you
Yeah.
could see there was a point when and again, this isn't really a spoiler because it happens at the beginning, but there's a point at the beginning where you can Drake says something to inspire some frustration in her face.
Yeah.
And all I could think about during that scene is that's exactly how Lena would act.
Dude, I
Yeah.
did the same exact thing. The interactions are so good that I was like, I've had that exact same conversation
you could watch
before.
her emotion change
Yeah.
from the graphics of the animation.
It's incredible, dude. It's insane. There's stuff towards the end of the game where a player will say something and without a word, you get like one of the most striking emotions that I've ever had in a game just because their face changes. And they have like that little side look that all people get when that happens. I was just fucking blown away. The entire game is like that. And there's so many moments where there's no game play, like there's no shooting, you're just walking around, and it's the best part in the game for me. Like it is an incredible feat that they've done with this game, and I'm very excited. Like this is the last Uncharted. They're not the last Uncharted with Nathan Drake, they've said, and so I'm happy for that because like we get a new IP with this fucking incredible team that's knocked it out of the park with Last of Us and now this and the other 3 Uncharteds before that. But for me, it is.
Can they work on a Last of Us 2?
I hope not. I hope that story stays
Nope.
100% self-contained.
Someone actually just
Really?
mentioned. Have you all heard The Last of Us 2 is coming? Said SBHH.
I've heard
Well,
that, but I never saw it confirmed.
I gotta
feel
say,
you
though,
on
Zeke,
that. I completely understand. I would like it to be different characters for sure.
I don't know, man. Well, again, we have to be very careful talking about Last of Us
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's an amazing.
What I'm saying is the
But
Last
just
of
saying,
Us
there
was
could be
so
a Last
well
of Us
done.
2. Like
There
easily,
could.
easily
Maybe
there
not
could
even
be a
Last of Us 2. Last of Us, pick your subtitle.
The preamble or they could do a lot of things there, but like
that the world they've created could lead to a myriad of scenarios. Like,
Well, and I'll tell you this, like maybe it's sacrilegious, but I thought Last of Us was a far superior game to any of the Uncharted.
100% agree.
Dude,
I
I
agree.
agree completely.
No,
I
Uncharted
agree
4 Uncharted 4 probably rivals that a little bit. I think
Okay.
the gameplay in Last of Us was better.
we
but
should
this-
talk about this next week after after me and Zeke have finished
Yeah,
Uncharted. 4.
The story in Uncharted 4, and specifically those moments where it's just the storytelling is like happening and the characters are having a conversation, is better made than anything that was in The Last of Us. But I think the characters in Last of Us were more like you connected with them better from the very beginning because of everything that was going on. But at the same time, for those that have played the Uncharted series and haven't started 4, it is as much of a leap that 1 to 2 was for me from 3 to 4. Like, just an incredible fucking game. And the end of it, like, they do a perfect job making the end amazing. It does the Uncharted thing where it goes a little bit long, but I didn't want to put the controller down when it was done. So, just an incredible game. Definitely go check it out.
Just want a quick little shout out to CD Projekt Red. For those that haven't looked into the Blood and Wine expansion, the amount of stuff they're adding is insane.
It's like 30 quests, right?
Enough landmass to rival Witcher 2 as an entire game.
I saw
A
that.
buildable and upgradable house, an entirely reworked inventory system, an entirely new set of skills which you can level up to.
Gwent cards,
like-
Gwent cards. Talk about Gwent cards. Are there going
Or
to be more?
Gwent. In fact, I hosted the CD Projekt Red panel at East. I can tell you this. They're adding an entire new faction for Gwent, Skellige.
Yay!
They're adding the Skellige faction, which has its own set of stuff. Like, dude, they're saying Blood and Wine could be the new standard in, like, people are calling Blood and Wine more than like standalone games in terms of content, like the amount of stuff they're adding.
That's crazy.
And I have to dress up as Geralt when I play it, so that's going to be fun.
Is that a
was
donation
sneaky
goal or
goal
not?
last year.
Yeah,
that
St. Jude
last
thing?
year actually. Yep, last year
Ah.
it was the very last donation goal we had for St. Jude. I have to cosplay Geralt. I have a silver and steel sword laying around here somewhere.
It won't be too bad.
Like the whole 9 yards. So, but dude, I like.
Well, I mean,
it's
you're
gonna
about
be
as emotionally available as him too, so that'll be good.
Oh shit!
Did you
Cold.
just make fun of my emotional availability?
Cold.
Is that a burn? Like what?
Cold.
Any,
I
but
don't-
anyway,
maybe.
yeah,
No, he proved my point. Is that a burn? I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
But dude, I haven't been this excited for a DLC in years.
Yeah,
Like
I need to go back and finish that game so bad.
Yeah, me too.
If you haven't played Heart of Stone, damn good storytelling in that. Like,
I mean, the entire game is good
worth.
storytelling. Yeah, I just didn't play it. Yeah, that's all it was.
So, question for you guys: since you're PS4 guys, I don't have one. That's why I haven't played any of these games. And obviously, this and Last of Us are those absolutely like must plays. Like,
I will say that
well
Last
worth
of
the
Us
investment of the console.
Maybe not Uncharted 4. I don't know because I'm too quick off a playthrough. So if I say yes, it's because I'm like super into it. But The Last of Us was for me the best game of the last generation of consoles. Like the story, everything in that game was like masterclass of video games.
Scoots, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I will never ever recommend a console for a game.
A singular console, yeah.
But if it's the only way you can play it, it's still not worth the experience of having the console.
What's really cool is there's a website called twitch.tv where you can watch, get the whole experience without having to buy the console.
That's some next level shit.
And that is what I recommend doing.
What channel?
Don't give money to those jerks.
Any
that do
particular
that
channel that you recommend? It's a big
well,
website.
there's this guy named
Big
CohhCarnage.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, you can check out his YouTube. I think he's got some. No, but no. Short answer is like all console exclusives are great, but they're like never worth the console ever.
Okay.
Ever.
The other thing
Not
too.
even Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 is cool. Don't buy a PlayStation 4 for it.
But not enough is stacked up with the games that are already out that makes it worthwhile at this point.
The library's
Watch on
not
YouTube.
bad.
Find your favorite YouTuber. Find your favorite caster. Like
But
that's.
I want to play it, not watch.
No, the answer that you're looking for, Scoots, is don't buy a PS4 yet because the PS4 4.5 is coming later this year, and you'll have to spend another $400 for a
That's
superior
true.
console.
Yeah, I hate that shit too. Yeah, that is true.
Well, I mean, this is the first time they've ever done it, and it's literally
I don't like the exclusive shit either. So
no one should buy a PlayStation 4 right now. No one.
Exclusives should burn in hell, and the people that came up with them should be shot.
There
Just
you
throw
go.
that out there. Exclusives in general, like the fact that PCs are denied games like Uncharted 4 is a fucking travesty. In fact, I've said
You're
that
not wrong.
today. I think I said that 3 or 4 times. Like the
I-
fact that I can't play Uncharted 4 on my PC is like it's a freaking travesty. So that we can't play that in 60 frames per second at max graphics. It's a travesty. It's denying gamers something that could be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's like
And the fact that people that propagate that stuff should be removed from society.
okay, that's the next step there. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Did you hijack Lyric's Twitter yesterday? Maybe Lyric didn't do any.
I think that was Co.
None of this was Lyric.
We got like 2 minutes left of the show because I know Zeke does need to go. Last week, Battlefield 1 was shown. It's now the most upvoted video on YouTube, and the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is now the most downvoted video in YouTube history, which is kind of funny. I thought that was pretty cute. The trailer for Battlefield 1 didn't really show shit, but people were losing their minds over it. Civilization 6 was announced today, which a lot of people were interested in, but don't worry, guys. They got to beta test the game, and a single game takes about 2 years, so it'll be there in about 2018. Final Fantasy X is coming to PC, which is kind of fucking weird. They're bringing the remastered version to PC. No one knows if it's going to be 60 FPS. I think it's going to be 4K, and I think it also has the Japanese version, so you never have to listen to Titus again, which is fucking amazing. You can play the Japanese version of that. Disney Infinity was canceled. That game that I talked about a long time ago.
Not only was it canceled, they closed a studio of 300 talented
they closed the
individuals.
entire game. Dude, 300 people.
That was hard to see.
It was really shitty. Yeah, for sure.
There were people that were pouring their heart and soul into that project, and it was just removed for
monetary reasons. Yeah,
monetary reasons. Yeah.
They really actually go into I think Giant Bomb. They like broke down to stockholders why they were removing it and like how much it was costing them year over year or some shit like that, which is kind of interesting. Doom comes out Friday. We don't have reviews for it. Reviews hit Friday along with the game, so we'll see if it's any good. I think a lot of people will be checking out, Co included.
Oh yeah.
Trying to see if there's anything else.
Doom. The 19th, we have the Fallout 4 DLC. 31st is Blood and Wine. And actually, in
24th is Overwatch.
I said a week later was No Man's Sky, but actually June 21st, I think, is No Man's Sky.
Oh, it's the week after E3. Okay.
And then July is kind of dead from what I remember, but
there'll be some didn't Rocket League come out last year in July? It came out in like the dead zone and then it just fucking like destroyed.
there's a few I think console RPGs that come out in July, if I'm not mistaken there. I don't remember the names though, but I remember there was some hype for them.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling down. Server browser was confirmed for Battlefield 1, so that's kind of cool. I'm into that.
Real quick before we go, what do you guys think of the Battlefield 1 stuff?
Trailer was a trailer that didn't show any gameplay.
Yeah.
Thank you. People were asking me nonstop, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, aren't you hyped for Battlefield 1?" And I was like, "I have nothing to be hyped over."
Yeah, you didn't.
I saw a cutscene.
There was nothing to see.
I have zero to be hyped for. Don't get me wrong. There's some cool stuff in it, like yay Zeppelins. But it's like, if anything, I have more questions after seeing that trailer.
I thought,
what are you gonna do? What's the squad system gonna be like? What are the maps gonna be like? Like, what are we gonna like? Where's the
I
content?
honestly thought there was a rumor going into that Battlefield 1 was going to be shown on the new 1080 and 1070 graphics cards from Nvidia, like at the Nvidia press conference, and it never was. So, like, I never saw that. So
yeah,
I don't
1080s look sexy though.
They look very fucking sexy. Yeah, I'm super excited. There's a new
The
card
show was
out.
amazing, JP. The show was amazing.
Yeah, it was insane. Did you guys watch the press conference, by the way? Did you watch it?
I did.
Did you see the part where Tom got yelled at? Because that was the best part.
Did.
That
Multiple
was so
times Tom got yelled at.
It was so funny, dude.
Man, that
Poor
seemed
Tom.
like a lot of pomp and circumstance for a graphic card release. I don't know. Like, and a lot of the stuff they talked about was just like
Thousands of engineers.
But that's how
engineers go.
Nvidia did that with their Shield. Like, they did the same exact thing for the Shield. They did the same exact thing a month ago for like their car VR, or not car. Their car AI or whatever they're doing.
They're all trotting their stuff out, right? Game devs trot their games out.
Yeah.
Now video cards are trotting their stuff out. Intel trots out.
Yeah,
It's true.
Just
true.
Nvidia's got a really interesting.
They did it right.
Nutty
That's
guy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
But that
they
stuff
did
with
it really well for what they did. There's no
Yeah.
question there.
I've
Price
never-
point are silly.
I've never seen someone get scolded at during a live presentation
That
like
was
Tom
amazing.
did. And it was
Poor
like
Tom.
it was
Tom.
actually hard to watch because he was like, "Tom, but is this on the internet?" And I'm just like, "Oh God, is he actually doing this?"
Yeah.
Like, he was going off on Tom, and Tom was like, he's kind of like playing it off like it was a joke or kind of laughter, and he's like, "Tom, I'm not laughing," and I'm like, "Oh God, he's gonna fire up."
Yeah, poor Tom.
Tom no
really
longer
good.
works for Nvidia.
Probably not. Probably
Tom
not.
had to update his LinkedIn profile recently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the other bit of news that I thought was interesting is that EA, and I don't know if this was confirmed, but did they tweet it? What is this? Oh, this is a news editor at Video Gamer.com said that EA just said that a new Star Wars Battlefront is coming next year. So, that's a rumor.
Yeah, Angry Joe had some words to say about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's the thing.
Also, a little bit of news that kind of flew under the radar. Did you guys hear that Kojima announced details of his upcoming game?
Yeah, he said it was exactly what everyone thought it was going to be.
Well, it's going to be an action-based game.
Okay.
He actually mentioned even open world in there. Like it is going to be a Sony exclusive, which no surprise there. They're basically
Yeah,
running
of
his
course.
company.
Yeah.
That the logo for his company has secrets, as he put it.
Of
Like,
course,
no-
it's fucking Kojima, of course.
Kojima. But anyway, a lot of very positive things, and the gears are very much turning in that regard. So hopefully we'll get more news about that soon.
Yeah, I would expect to see something on that at E3, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm hoping there's been rumors that he's bringing back Armored Core.
That'd be interesting.
So that would be pretty freaking awesome to see like a brand new Armored Core reboot. That would be really cool.
for sure. All right, let's go ahead and wrap because I know Zeke was supposed to go 12 minutes ago, and so we're trying to get him out here.
It's all right.
It's not. I'm not putting the blame on you. I'm just apologizing publicly.
Get about it.
Let's
I
do
hear
some
you.
shout
It's
outs. Zeke, why don't you start us off?
Sounds good. What is up? My name is Ezekiel III. Most people just call me Zeke. 4R boys, where my 4R boys at? Variety broadcaster here on Twitch, starting most of my days at noon Pacific. Right after this broadcast today, I will be doing Uncharted 4, starting it for the very first time. Sponsored by Totino's Pizza Rolls. Totino's Pizza Rolls. When you don't have enough lava in your mouth. So if you want to check that out, be my guest. But thank you to Sir Scoots, man. I gotta say, like, this is one of my favorite drop frames he's ever done because you just like pushed knowledge into my brain case. I enjoyed the shit out of it, man. So thank you.
Let's do more beers next time.
Absolutely, man. Also, big thank you to CohhCarnage and itmeJP, of course, for being my awesome co-hosts. And we'll see you later.
There you go. And Zeke, I would hope that next week we'll have the next evolution of the new house, and I'll have a green screen set up just for you. So
good.
If I don't have that set up, I'm sorry. You can kick me off the show, and we'll let you run it from now on. Ko, do some shout-outs.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ko. I'm a daily streamer over at twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. We have a ton of games coming down the pipeline over there. New Doom, Fallout 4 DLC, Blood and Wine, Stellaris we're going to check out at some point, more Overwatch, all sorts of fun things. Also doing a St. Jude charity month right now, so all tips to the channel go directly to St. Jude. Really, we've raised over $15,000 in about a week. It's been awesome. Big thank you to everyone who's been a part of that. As always, a huge thank you to Zeke and JP, and a huge thank you to Scoots. This has been one of the more fun episodes I've been on. The amount of information that has been interesting to me has just been off the charts. So a big thank you there. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate y'all being here. And yeah, we'll see you next week with more good news and fun stuff. Thanks for watching.
Scoots, do some shout outs and also answer the question, when will Live on 3 return?
It finally shows up.
I mean, I listened to your rant for 2 hours and I'm like,
that was
Live on 3 was like a pretty good show.
Every time like we game, it's a mini Live on 3 between us.
That's true.
I'm Sir Scoots. I guess I'm giving shout outs. You can see how to find me there. I do have a Twitch page. I do have a Twitter profile. I talk a lot on Twitter. It's kind of therapy for me. So be warned. It's pretty caustic sometimes, very outspoken, mostly esports related stuff. But now I am basically a variety streamer. I try to stream about 5 nights a week when I'm in town. So I'm aspiring to be like these fine professional gentlemen, although I have a long way to go. I miss Overwatch. I think that's a given. I played a hell of a lot of Overwatch. There's my boy Lucio. We will be reunited, my friend. Go over there. Get out of here, Lucio. And again, thanks for having me. I've watched not all your episodes, but I've tuned into some of your episodes, and I've actually seen this show live twice at 2 different events. So I've always
been at our live shows.
Been intrigued by this business side that you guys all do and that you're all pioneering, if you will. Because like you said, Ko, is a brand new world out there. So again, thanks for having me. And yeah, that's it.
Brand new world.
There you go.
Down with PPP.
What?
Yeah, you know me.
Got to get down with PPP. Preferred Partner Program.
Oh, okay.
Purple. Preferred Partner 4 Ps.
Quad P.
Quad P. Quad
Michael
P.
Isn't there who's the
Quad V.
Isn't there a pro player with like PP in his name?
Yeah.
Dr.
PPD.
PPD. Okay, that's his name. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Zeke, we got to get you out here, so we'll close the show. I'll do the rest of my shout-outs afterwards. Me and Ko will probably have a video maybe tomorrow night, maybe Friday about E3. So look for that in the future because Drop Frames will be doing a bunch of stuff there. I was going to say something.
You can look for me live from E3.
Okay, good. You could say it. I was going to throw to you, but I was like...
Nope, I just got the confirmation today. I will be live from E3 with all the Twitch peoples. With
there you go.
Wheat and Anna and Carnage and Man vs. Game and all these peoples. Future Man, I think, is on there as well.
There you go. I wasn't sure if I could confirm that or not, but it would make sense. It'd be kind of awkward if we're like, me and Ko will be bringing you Drop Frames at E3. So that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. We'll be live next week, Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern. Have a good one. Bye-bye.